black women raise violent black boys.
Let's say that somebody was coming into our church and they're black, and would they be eligible for membership in our church? Yes, they of course they would. They'd be eligible for membership in our church. But would they be permitted to participate in, embody, and practice what I would call black culture generally in our church? The answer is absolutely not. Why? Because the characteristics that mark black culture as a generalization, in the same way Paul's talking about Cretans on Crete, they are evil, murderous, violent, bestial people. They steal, they kill, they destroy. They are sinful to the core. They have besetting sins that are like fatherlessness, sexual immorality. They molest children at a high rate.
There are certain parts of town that you cannot go. And there are certain people that you cannot be around.
Yep.
Right? If you go into a crowd of strangers and they're white strangers, there's some danger. If they're black strangers, there is 30 times more danger. Them's the facts.
Hey guys, welcome to Humanscars. Please like, share, and subscribe for more videos.
White men's crime statistics against them enough for me. I'm not gonna hold you. It makes no sense for y'all to constantly preach pattern recognition and statistics, but then your worst stereotype for black women is being loud, driving Nissan Altimas, and having baby daddies, but your worst statistics is mass shootings and touching kids. I don't give a fuck. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. That makes no sense to me.
Most mass shootings in America, white men. School shootings, white men. Intimate partner violence, typically known as domestic violence, white men. Police brutality and systemic violence, white men. Online harassment and extremism, white men. Domestic terrorism, white men. Serial killers, white men.
Shot Trump. This is the man who killed Melissa Hortman. This is the man who tried to kill John Hoffman. This is the man who tried to kill Paul Pelosi. This is the man who killed an Obama-appointed judge's son. This is the man who hired hitmen to kill Democrats. This is the man who ran over a left-wing activist and killed her. This is the man responsible for the Austin bombing. This is the man who sent pipe bombs to Obama, Biden, and Hillary Clinton. This is the man who shot Gabby Gifford. This is the man who tried to kidnap Gretchen Whitmer. Oh, and this man. And this man. And this man. This man. This man. This man. This man. This man. And this man. This is the man who set Josh Shapiro's house on fire. This is the Oklahoma bomber. This is his accomplice. These are just a few of the men who beat police officers on January 6th. I can think of a few things they have in common, and it's not the way they use their words or their left-wing politics. 2. Killed 10 black people in a Buffalo grocery store. His motive was, quote, to prevent the elimination of the white race. The El Paso Walmart shooter, he shot 45 people, killing 23. He thought he was acting at the request of President Trump to stop the invasion. He also cited the Great Replacement theory. The neo-Schmatzi who killed 9 people at a black church because he, quote, had to do something. This is the Pittsburgh synagogue shooter. His motive was to stop white genocide. This was the Oregon shooter. Police found a manifesto where he went on a lengthy rant about black men. The Dollar General shooter, his motive was a hatred for black people. Despite previously being involuntarily committed, he was still able to legally purchase the weapon. Florida. This is the Oxford school shooter. His parents gave him a 9mm for an early Christmas gift when he was 15 years old. They were so excited they just couldn't wait till Christmas. This is the FedEx shooter. Police found that he was viewing not like propaganda online and that he wanted to demonstrate his masculinity. The man went on a shooting spree in Atlanta, killed 8 people, 6 of whom were Asian women. This was the Dayton mass shooter, shot 17 people, killing 9, including his sister, who previously suspended from school for having hit lists and grape lists. The Santa Fe school shooter, one of his victims rejected his romantic advances. This was the Thousand Oaks shooting. This is the Parkland shooter, Sutherland Springs shooter, Las Vegas shooter, the Sandy Hook shooter. This is the Aurora Theater shooter. He had an obsession with killing and chose the weapon that would allow for the maximum amount of casualties. These, of course, are the Columbine shooters. The Chardon school shooter, who was upset that his ex-girlfriend had a new boyfriend. The Georgia school shooter, he is not transgender, no matter how many right-wing AI-generated memes tell you so. Father gave him an AR for Christmas. when he was 14.
The real mental health issue in this country is white men. The Middle Passage, 1.2 African Americans died. White men. Segregation, white men. Lynchings, white men. Wounded Knee, white men. The Trail of Tears, where 16,000 Native Americans died. White men. 98% of gun violence is men. 84% are white men. I see a trend. January 6th, white men.
Who loves the Lord and loves your children, that you need to have the talk. It says there are certain parts of town that you cannot go. And there are certain people that you cannot be around.
Yep.
Right? If you go into a crowd of strangers and they're white strangers, there's some danger. If they're black strangers, there is 30 times more danger. Them's the facts. And it is actually a failure of your parental duty. White parents, please hear me. If you teach your children growing up, if you lie to them and say all people and all races of people in our country are the same, they are not. You are actually depriving your child of factual, truthful information that could save their life.
What you just heard is not the gospel of Jesus Christ. It's the gospel of fear and white supremacy. And when a Christian nationalist pastor tells white parents to warn their children that black people are inherently more dangerous than white people, it's not just ignorance. Those are words that are violent. It dehumanizes entire communities and hands generational racism down like a family heirloom. And let's be clear about something. In the black community, the talk is a very different conversation. It's the heartbreaking and necessary moment when parents have to sit their children down to explain how to survive in a world that sees them as a threat simply because of the color of their skin. It's not about instilling fear of others. It's about preparing our children for the realities of racism, policing, and systems that were never built for their protection. That's where the talk comes from. It was born out of love and out of a desperate desire to keep our children safe in a country that too often refuses to see their humanity. So when white parents are told to give their children the talk, it's rooted in racist lies, and it doesn't just distort the truth, it mocks the pain of generations who never had the privilege of raising their kids without that weight. Because here's the truth, our call as Christians is not to teach our children who to fear, but who to love. Jesus didn't avoid people who were different than him. He welcomed them to the table. So if you're a parent listening right now, please hear me. Teach your children the truth. Teach them empathy, teach them love and compassion. Teach them that every single human being bears the image of God. Because the danger is not in being around people of color. The danger is in raising yet another generation that is shackled to the lie of white supremacy.
By her feet from a tree, after beating her, they set her on fire. And she was pregnant, so they cut her stomach open. And when the baby fell, the unborn baby fell, they stomped on it. They stomped on it. Then they riddled her body with 60 bullets. After all that, they left her there to die. Her name is Mary Turner. She was a 21-year-old black woman married to Hayes Turner. And the reason this happened to her is because a white plantation owner who was known for brutalizing his slaves. This is 1918, by the way. Slavery was supposed to be emancipated in 1865. But anyway, a white slave owner was killed by his enslaved African for being brutal. When word got out that he had died, a large mob of white men and women went around killing 13 black women and children and men all over Valdosta, Georgia. Hayes Turner, who was Mary's husband, had nothing to do with the killing of Mr. Smith, but the mob lynched him anyway. One of the 13 victims was riddled with 120 bullets while hanging from a tree. Now, like I said, Mary's husband, Hayes Turner, was lynched. Mary found out about this, and she knew the names of everyone that was involved, and she decided to expose it and tell the world, hey, my husband and these 13 victims need justice. The mob did not like that at all. And if you don't know, it's 1918. You know that the white community would have done tremendously worse for less. So imagine how they felt when they were exposed. That is when they dragged her to the middle of Valdosta, Georgia, to Little River, beat her, strung her up by her feet upside down, set her on fire, cut her stomach open, stomped on her baby, and shot her over 60 times. She was 21 years old.
Damn day. We as white people love to throw around statistics when it comes to the black community. We love to misconstrue data about poverty rates, crime rates, single parent households. Here's the thing. If you really want to talk about problematic behavior in terms of statistics, we need to talk about white men. Most mass shootings in America? White men. School shootings? White men. Intimate partner violence, typically known as domestic violence? White men. Police brutality and systemic violence? White men. Online harassment and extremism? White men. Domestic terrorism? White men. Serial killers? White men. The demographic making up the vast majority of CEOs, judges, senators, and police chiefs
Thank
who
you guys
refuse to
so
hold
much
white
for
men
watching.
responsible.
Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
White
Also,
men.
leave me a comment.
And
Let
yet
me know
us
your
white men
reaction.
are really talked
See you on
about
the
as
next
being a
one.
problem. Few white people are asking what's wrong with white men, what's wrong with the culture. Few white men are demanding that we be fixed. And why? Because we as white men humanize and individualize white violent offenders. And it's time to flip the script.
Can't be sharp at all if you posters and think this fits your narrative. Listen to what the little boy say.
If you seriously believe the 13% of the population and 50% of the crime, you need to get fact-checked, and I'm about to do it to you. In 2016, white people committed 70% of the convicted crime, and black people only committed 27%. Then in 2017, white people committed 68% of the reported crime, and black people only committed 26% of it. And in 2024, white people committed 53% of the reported crime, while black people only committed 25%. So this narrative on 13% of the population, 50% of the crime is wrong. You know who actually commits 50% of the crime? White people.
White Americans inflicted countless atrocities, starting with the genocide of Native Americans. The Trail of Tears in 1838 displaced Cherokee, killing.
Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, leave me a comment. Let me know your reaction. See you on the next one.